Hello, my dear friends. Welcome or welcome back. My name is Sarita, and it is Sunday. It is time for another candle review. And today I have a candle review from Homeworx. And it's not a candle that is either seasonal in terms of like the packaging, and it's not a candle that is new. It's one I got at Marshall's or TJ Maxx probably about a month ago, and I've really been enjoying it. And I think that the fragrance was great for me for fall, but it could just as well, I think, go into January, February. And yeah, so the candle in question is this lovely hobnail black right here. And the name of it is Black Tie. As you can see, black tie, and I got it for $12.99 from Marshall's. So this was a candle that came out at New Year's. It may have been this year, like as in, December, January 22, 23, or it may have been the New Year's before that. I think it was this New Year's, but I don't know if it was new to New Year's this last year or if it has been around for a bit and just kind of came back at New Year's. But I think it was maybe even in this particular format. But this is a pour from July of this summer. So it's definitely been re-poured, whatever it was. And I found this, like I said, at TJ Maxx or Marshall's. And it was probably like I said, about a month ago. So kind of in the fall region. I was just at Marshall's today, actually. And I saw that they had many of these, but it was a different fragrance. It was some gourmand, and I can't remember what it was. I didn't think it was all that great, and I don't do gourmands, so I didn't pick it up. This is a 3-wick, and I burned this all the way down to the wick clips. I can't tell you about sooting because the black kind of makes it a little impossible to say, but for the most part, I felt as though this burned pretty well. It burned very well, actually. I just don't know in terms of sooting what it would have been. Conveniently, this black kind of disguises it. Oh, I like this. I like this a lot. It's a little reminiscent to me of the Patchouli Teak wood that came out brand new this fall from Homeworx. I like the Patchouli Teak wood a little bit better than this one. But I like this one, and it shares some resemblances. So if you don't remember, and I'll link the review down below for Patchouli Teak wood. That was like one of my favorite fall candles this year. It really was. Yes, it could have performed better. Yes, it could have been stronger. But in terms of the fragrance appeal, I just thought it was fantastic. And I really hope that Harry Slatkin stays with it, brings it back. And although it's a long shot, maybe amplifies the volume on that particular fragrance. So if you remember, Patchouli Teak wood had patchouli in it and a lot of wood. Teak wood, and I want to say oak, maybe oak barrels. And then it obviously had, it didn't obviously, but it had, I think, bourbon in it. Bourbon, yes, oak barrels of bourbon and plum. So I said that it kind of had a very brandy feel to it, and also a very craft alcohol experience with the oak barrels. It was, I just thought it was fantastic. So this one has aged bourbon, it has patchouli, it has Palo Santo instead of like the oak or the teak wood, and then it has smoked vanilla bean. So you've got some smoke in there too and some creaminess. So actually shares a ton of notes in common with the Patchouli Teak wood. Patchouli Teak wood though has that strong plum in it though that takes it to a very fruity alcohol place, a la a brandy, a sherry, a port. Right? This one doesn't have that fruitiness in it. Instead, it just has the wood, the patchouli, the bourbon nuance, some smoke, and some creamy vanilla. And I think it's a really good, I think it's a good description for what it is. It's not overly boozy, but I would say it's more boozy or boozy reminiscent than it is patchouli-ish. So if you are not so much a patchouli person, you might still be able to do this candle and handle it pretty well. I like personally patchouli and teakwood better because I think patchouli and teakwood is a little bit more straightforward. It's bolder. It's very authentic and well-rounded in the way that it gives you this like craft alcohol experience. This one seems a little bit more muddled and a little bit less piercing, less bright. It doesn't pop quite the same way as Patchouli Teak would. Because of the plum, it really takes it up into that really bright region. Whereas this one doesn't have that. Instead, it has like a smoky vanilla, which kind of brings everything down into that like lower mid-range to base range. It smells a little bit heavier for me than Patchouli Teakwood does, but I still really like this one. I obviously bought it when I smelled it, and it performed really, really well. So this is a 3-wick, and I know I've been hearing from a lot of people that the 3 wicks don't perform for Homeworx. I just got lucky then because this one was great. I would say that it gave off comparable, if not stronger strength and throw than that Patchouli Teakwood, which was a 4-wick. Granted, the Patchouli Teakwood did underperform for the range of 4-wick candles, I think, or at least the way that they should be burning. This one performed, I would say it was strongly in at least the 6 to 6.5 realm. And then with the Hurricane, I really think it was for the most part at a 7, if not a 7.5 for most of its existence. So I'm happy with that. That's a very, very decent performance, especially for a 3-wick. I'm very happy with it. Like I said, it burned like a dream, all the way down, extinguished itself. And I'm not smelling like any soot. This is actually similar in some ways, and I just kept it rather than discarding it. It reminds me a little bit of Bourbon Bonfire from Kringle, but like when I open this up, all I smell is smoke. It's not smoke, like soot. This is just so sooty, which is weird given the fact that this is 100% soy. And it did not entirely extinguish itself. I mean, it just kind of got to a certain place and couldn't go any further. So it didn't go all the way down to the wick clips, I guess is what I'm saying. This is much more strongly woody. And then it's got that like really old-fashioned kind of like snuff box smell. Whereas this one is a lot sweeter, and it's that vanilla, I think, and it must also be the bourbon. So the smoked vanilla bean and the bourbon are really giving it a pretty strong sweet smell. Not quite as sweet as like Patchouli Teakwood. Patchouli Teakwood is almost off the chain in terms of sweetness with that like brandy plum. So this one is sweeter than this one, but it's also more complex. It's just more complex. It's better blended. And when I lean into this candle, what's left of it, I get no soot. Absolutely none. The fragrance that I'm smelling right now at the wick clips is exactly the same fragrance that I smelled on cold. That's called Burning Like a Dream, number 1. And it's also called just a really fantastic fragrance. Yeah, I mean, I would highly recommend this black tie over Patchouli Teakwood. I did not like this candle. And I really wanted to, and on cold, I thought that I did. But then upon burning it, I just think it's kind of a mediocre candle. Like, at best, it's good. But it's not brilliant, it's not great. And for me to lift this lid and pretty much only be smelling soot, that's a no. That's a no bueno for me. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of a lot of wood with a very dated snuff box smell. This one is pleasing. It's really pleasing. Yes, it does lean a bit masculine with all the wood, with the patchouli, with the bourbon, with the smoke. And I think that's probably what they're leaning into, not only with the aesthetic, but also with the like black tie genre that they're trying to like evoke, obviously for New Year's or some sort of holiday. So it leans masculine, but as with Patchouli Teakwood, it has enough sweetness to really kind of bring it back into the middle, into that like beautiful, unisexual, just intriguing, sophisticated place. Yeah? Like it doesn't go full board, only a male could enjoy this, or somebody who has very strong masculine cologne preferences. It's really one of those fragrances that I think a lot of people are going to like if they give it a chance. Yeah? This is not cinnamon roll. I don't know that the gourmand purists are going to like leap for this. And I don't think it got a whole lot of buzz when it came out. But if all of them performed like this, which is to say modestly, but well, burning all the way down, really having a fairly good strength and throw for a 3-wick, it probably should have gotten a little bit more hype. So I'm really hoping that this one comes back. And I think Patchouli Teak is kind of like a very nice, I mean, both of them, they kind of plow the same ground because both of them kind of, with the woods and with the bourbon, there is something that kind of feels cold weather or cool weather-ish, cozy, if you will, rugged a little bit. So I think that they do sit right and sit well within the like fall region, but you could definitely, I mean, this one came out at New Year's. You could definitely do this in like January, February too, right? It still has that very cozy log cabin kind of feel for sure, with all the woods and with the bourbon. And this one even has a little bit of smoke. So they kind of do plow the same area. I was about to say that Patchouli Teak would be for fall and this would be for January, but frankly, you could do them for either. Super classy packaging. And I'm not even like an all black kind of person, but it just really works. It was actually a little bit translucent. And I don't know if that was intentional or not, like if there just wasn't enough paint. But it was really nice. You could actually kind of see some of the flicker through it, but it was also just super classy, really, really classy. The lid is kind of phoned in for sure, but what you really like to see is that nice vessel. So real thumbs up for me on black tie. And this is one of the first 3 wicks that I've burned from Homeworx, and this one did fantastic. So if it's true that they generally do not perform with the 3 wicks, this must be an exception, and I am here for it. Yes, I would repurchase this one. I would definitely repurchase Patchouli Teak though. I need Patchouli Teak. I need it. And I need it to come back stronger. Because that one for me was hoard worthy, whereas this one may not be quite hoard worthy, but it's in the same genre and I like it. Okay, that's all I've got for you. Unfortunately, black tie is available nowhere. Black tie is available, or I found it at Marshall's, so it's possible you might see it. I mean, it says it was just poured in July, so maybe it'll be making an appearance again in January, right? For New Year's? Oh, I really hope so. If so, this was a very seasonal review, and I'm very happy to give you a preview for a New Year's candle that may be coming out and being repoured for a month and a half from now, a month from now. It's nice. I really like it. I'll catch you in the next one.